So what up, B, Mike?
You can go first. My shit's always dark cloud.
Mine's is kind of dark too, actually.
God damn, we're
damn.
brothers.
I couldn't
We're
find.
happy.
Y'all know y'all was gonna be.
Yeah, I couldn't find
Damn.
anything happy.
Well, you might
I mean,
have
okay,
one.
so
You might
this-
have one of mine. So
Okay, so this,
probably not.
yeah, it's sad. Okay, it's about the Tyre Nichols
Okay,
thing.
that was one of mine. So cool.
So
Yeah,
I just want to pose a question.
we gotta
right?
talk about that though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we do have
I just
to.
yeah.
No, 'cause y'all said that Mike said that you had something bad, and you would have said it's one of mine. So you brought two dark things. Like you were like,
That's what I said.
This shit ain't dark. I
Yeah.
got something even darker.
Yeah.
But it works out perfect because I was gonna pose it as the Tyre Nichols bleeds into mine.
Gotcha,
So,
gotcha.
Okay.
but you know, all I got is dark shit, Jalen. You know how it goes.
Yeah, I couldn't find nothing silly or goofy today. I mean, FIFO found it.
But we have to talk about it. though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, yeah, for
Now,
sure.
I mean, I was just gonna pose a question.
What's your
At least
question,
this is what I noticed
What's your question?
with this. You know, I mean, yeah, it's definitely super fucked up, and I find it really interesting that people are surprised, like that it's black cops that did this. I mean, you know, hell, this been going on since before we was born, as far as with black police. Hell, Mike even not champion, but he even mentioned it a lot on here, like, y'all, it's not just white cops. Like, black cops be on some fuck shit, if just as bad, if not worse, than white cops.
And it's been depicted in movies. Like,
Right. I mean,
yeah.
Boys in the Hood gave us a lens of that. You know what I'm saying? So
Black motherfucker.
right. You know what I'm saying? So, but my question is, I find it interesting, and y'all can fact check me, or whatever. I feel like the how swift that these black officers are being, you know, charged and fired like so quick is pretty different from if it made me think, like, if these was white officers that did this to this black man, would everything be so swift? You know what I'm saying? Like, this shit was swift. It was like fired, charged. I'm like, oh shit. Like, I mean, that's good. I'm not complaining about that part. I think they get whatever they, you know, that's deserving to them, because, you know, the way they, and I'm not watching the video, and people, please stop reposting and
So it's
retweeting
actually
that
posted
shit.
now.
People are
Yeah,
people,
they dropped it Friday, I think.
yeah, they dropped it Friday.
Yeah, I
and-
saw it.
I watched
I didn't
it
want
too.
to see it. Yeah, no, I didn't want to see it.
You don't
But
need to.
but yeah, it's just like that's just my question. This is like, if y'all noticed, if this is a thing, that's because every time when it's a white police officer, it's always like, okay, you suspension or whatever until further notice.
With
and
pay.
You know what I'm saying? So, but with these black officers, like I said, and I'm cool with it. I'm glad that the hammer was dealt quick. But it's just like, okay, with these black officers, it's like the shit got handled really quick. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, and it's funny how, you know, all these, I don't hear the whole why did he didn't comply, because I feel like if it was white officers, that would have been the question, like, oh, why did Tyre Nichols comply?
Oh, that's there.
You know what I'm saying?
No, that's there.
It's
They're
still there?
They're definitely saying
It's
that.
still there? Okay, I
Because
have.
he ran and they're definitely saying, why did he run? Why wouldn't he comply? They're still saying.
Okay.
Can somebody give me a rundown of what happened? Because I intentionally haven't been paying attention to the story.
Am I the only one that watched it?
I watched it too, the video.
Yeah.
So what happened?
And I was like, you trying to stay away from it, or just, you know, it's these killings and stuff have been happening. They haven't really stopped. We just haven't really been talking about it all that much. So when it popped up, it was like, oh, okay, you know, another one. And then I saw the 5 police officers, and they were all black, and I saw people comment about that. But this was like, it was like, it just kept coming up over and over and over and over again. And it's just like, man, what the fuck is going on? Like, why are they pushing this story so heavy? So yeah, it was Saturday morning. I think I watched the video because I'm like, what is going on? And I was trying to figure out why these 5 officers in a routine traffic stop beat this guy to a pulp. And I could not understand it for the life of me. I was like, they had, to the point where I was like, they had to have known this guy, bro. So that's how I ended up reading the story and eventually watching the video, because I was trying to just make it make logical sense. I know these things don't have to have logical sense to them, but for some reason it was not computing. So yeah, it was just a routine stop, and
Where was it?
it was in Memphis. It was in Memphis. I don't know like the details proceeding up to them asking him to get out of the car, but I do know that he ran and tried to run away from them.
Well, I can fill
You
that part
got-
in
you-
real
okay,
quick.
go ahead,
Just the
please.
part before that. They said that he was weaving in and out of traffic.
Okay.
So this is what they said at least. And then the cops said that they were pulling him over for reckless driving. Although it has now come out that there is zero evidence
Of his
of
reckless
that.
okay.
There's zero evidence of him reckless driving, and there's zero evidence that they actually had probable cause to pull him over. The video basically starts with them running towards his car and yanking him out of the car. So
And there were spectators while they did this. Was it people on the where, like
it was in traffic.
it was in traffic?
It was in
And
traffic.
it was at
yeah.
night, of course.
And but like when you said that they yanked him out the car, because I didn't watch it intentionally.
Sure.
I-
Well, I'll real quick before you get to your thing. The only reason I told y'all before I don't watch death videos. The only reason I did watch this is I justified it in my head that he died days later. So it's not like it's one of the videos that they usually share where it's like, oh, the cops
died
jump
there.
out and
like
they
George
shoot him.
Floyd or something. Like
Yeah,
a-
it's not really like that.
Okay.
It's still, if you don't want to watch it, that's still justified.
Yeah,
You don't
I
need to watch it. But for some reason, in my brain, I kind of just needed to see what happened. That's all. But go ahead.
Okay, so when they pulled him over, did they say, "Hey, license and registration"?
No.
They just went straight, boom, open the door, get the fuck out, and
Not according to the video that I saw. Now, there could have been more footage before this, but the video that I saw really started with them running towards his car, and one of the cops yanks the door open and pulls him out by his shirt. And he's yelling, "I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything." And they're slamming him on the ground, and they're like, "Put your arms behind your back, motherfucker. Put your fucking arms behind your back. I'll fucking, you know."
Give
So
him
all
the
the cops
hand.
were present at this point.
No.
So how many was it at this point?
2, right?
I think it was 2.
I believe it was 2.
And then
Yeah.
they called for other cops to come.
Yes,
you know
other
they
cops
always
came.
come,
They always
bro.
do that.
Yeah, I know.
Especially if
But yeah.
it's resisting, and there's air quotes that y'all can't see.
Yeah,
So go ahead, Ken. Sorry.
But yeah, so I was watching. So I was watching it just to see how they was. It sounds messed up, but how they was beating him. Like I was just trying to look for some type of contact clues. Is like, is this a guy they knew from back in the day? This is a chance to get payback. You know, was it a rival gang? Something, and I got nothing. I just saw
looked
just.
senseless.
It looks like they were just doing it just cause. All I heard them say was, "Show me your hands, show me your hands, give me your hands, give me your hands." But they're kind of probably trained to do that because they know the video rolling. And then there was one guy rolled up and he sprayed so much pepper spray that it got on him and he had to run out of the pile, and they still whooping his guy's ass. They did not even come up off of him. And then they stood him up and then they started hitting him some more. And then the guy came in with the baton. It completely makes absolutely no sense of why they were doing that from a guy that wasn't resisting in that way. And then of course other cops came and stuff like that. Like none of this makes any sense, you know. So kind of going back to where you were at, B, is that, you know, it's a very, I look at it kind of a nuanced, complicated story because, you know, you tend to look at least us for the most part, or some of us look at cops like you're all the same, right? White, black, whatever, you know, and you know, they have this doctrinaire thing about them, right? This thing where, you know, that's how they view themselves, like we're all one accord. So they probably thought because of what happened to all the other white people that this wouldn't happen to them, you know, and you know, I don't know if a message was sent. I just look at a message was sent. I don't know if a message was sent or not. But it's just, I did find that part interesting that it was so swift and severe, as it should have been.
Right.
You know, for anybody listening, it's just there's another layer or layers beneath it that when I look at this, I can't help but analyze, you know, the optics between the differences in race. Right. I also thought that, and the other thing is like you, Rod, and like I guess whoever else. It's like I wasn't trying to even watch this, but there was so much like external pressure, like we're gonna put this everywhere. It's just like, oh my God, what's so special about this that made it seem like it was like something else going on? And it just, they eventually got me. And then the last thing I had is that the mom and dad knew the video was coming. I think they were urging people not to watch it. You know, is what I
Not
was
to
told.
spread it, I think. Was it
Or
not to
spread
watch it?
Something like that. It
You
may have
could
been
be right.
spread it.
I thought it was
spread it.
based
It
on if
probably was
spread it.
spread it. I think my wife told me this part, so it probably was spread it. Yeah, because I think I think you're probably right. Yeah. So, which I thought was also interesting, that which I get, like you don't want all this stuff out, but also again adding to it is like you're taking this thing, you're putting it out and spreading it, and everybody's watching your son, get brutally beat, but you're also feeding into that the monetization of Black Death as well. So
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, man, like this, like seeing stuff like this scares me because I've been personally in situations, that it could have went like that far left. I had 2 where, and they both happened in Chicago. There was me and my homies, we used to hoop like at midnight at this church. You know what I'm saying? And before we went to McDonald's, and I was just chilling, me and my homie, because I didn't have cash to get into the church. So I was like, yo, I'll buy you food, you just pay for me to get in. And we were just chilling, eating, and this cop was going through the drive-thru. I had pulled into the parking spot, and he pulls out a gun and like tells me to come out, like with my hands up. Like, it was just crazy as hell. And then I had another situation where I was chilling with some homies. I'm driving, and there's cops that get behind our car, and I didn't pull over where it was dark. You know what I'm saying? I went into a gas station. And as soon as they came, why didn't you stop when we? I said, because I wanted to make sure everybody could see everything. You know what I'm saying? And now that I have a son, like this was, I remember a couple episodes ago before my son got here, I asked y'all, about being a dad and parenting and all that type of stuff. And this is like the type of things that I'm scared of. And I know that you can't control it. You know what I'm saying? But like, I know for me, man, like, in those situations, I'm always like super compliant. I'm not saying that is gonna save you, but I definitely don't try to agitate police, because you never know, man. Like, and that shit is scary, because
it's not that situation, because according to what they saw, is like, I didn't do anything. This was the first words he said, right?
Well, I mean, that's the first words that anyone would typically say to a cop. But I mean, to comment on the part about not resisting, it's just when we were younger, seeing black people killed by police on TV wasn't really much of a thing. The closest thing we had was Rodney King. But now, like, I think people don't really understand. I don't mean people here, I mean like really white people don't really understand that there's PTSD with being black these days. Like, that man has seen multiple people being killed by police. And when people are like, oh, well, why did he resist? Why did he run? Because he thought he was about to die. And there's a possibility that he was high. Maybe he was. That's still not a death sentence.
Right.
But regardless, I don't know how I would react. If I was in my car, and I'm never doing anything in my little Honda Fit, and 2 black cops run up to my car screaming, get the fuck out of the car, and they immediately yank me out and throw me on the ground, I don't know how I might react. I might try to run.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna think they're about to kill me. And the thing is, the sad thing is, so there's a couple pieces that were left out. He was tased before he ran off.
Oh, wow.
So that's the other thing. They slammed him on the ground. He's saying, I didn't do anything. They're like, give me your fucking hands, or I'm gonna tase you. The entire time, the cops are threatening, they're screaming, they're not really being super clear. And at one point, the guy pulls out his taser and tases him. And Tyre books off. He runs. He was running towards his house. So when they caught up to him, that's the part where the video gets really hard to watch. But to end it all, he was yelling for his mother. He was yelling for his mom to come outside. So that's probably another reason why the mom doesn't want the video spread. Why would you want a video of your son being killed while he's screaming for you? I guarantee she's blaming herself. If I'd only heard him, if I was only there, you wouldn't have been able to do anything. Nope. These cops, and when you're looking for a reason, I think it was just a matter of cops think that they are the be all end all to law. If they come up and they say, get on the ground, you get on the ground. If they tell you shut the fuck up, you shut the fuck up. They get super pissed when we don't obey them without question. So the fact that these pigs had to chase him down the block and catch him, yeah, that's probably why they beat him like that. They beat him like you would think this is a movie. They beat him with a baton. The guy broke his baton on him.
Wow.
There's another part of the video where it shows him trying to get the baton back. It's a collapsible baton. It wouldn't collapse anymore because he had hit him with it so hard. They picked him up, punched him in his face, And I don't know if you watched this part, Ken, but there's a longer video where they're laughing about it afterwards.
That's what I heard. I heard they were just
The cops are just like, man, I hit this motherfucker with haymakers, dog. I was hitting him in his head, bro. I was fucking him up. It's a big joke. But I think when you say, did they think that they were getting away with it? Well, I don't think they thought he was going to die. I think these guys have done this
Good point.
a million times. This is nothing new for cops to beat the shit out of what they consider to be a perpetrator. So I think that's really what it was. I think that they didn't think he was going to die. And then to your point, B, the video, there's white cops. They didn't get charged.
Yeah,
There's more than
Really?
one. Yes.
I think I saw one. He just stood there as they were in the circle, and then he walked off. And people are asking why they haven't been charged either.
At the first part of the video, I'm fairly certain that one of those two cops that runs up is white. I'm
And all you
almost
see is a picture of the
positive.
5 black cops. That's
It's only the 5 black cops
Yeah.
that got charged. And I think it's easier for that police department to put these 5 black cops up because they're hoping that this will not really go into the narrative of cops being racist. Because even idiots like Candace Owens are like, well, the cops are black. Like,
That's
Right.
like
everybody's
black
saying
cops
that.
can't uphold white, like black people can't uphold white supremacy.
Exactly.
She does.
Right.
It's like, have you never looked in the mirror?
Exactly.
You do it every day.
right.
You know, but I think that's really what it
Right.
is. They're not going to put up the white cops.
And that's probably also
See, I
why
didn't know
there's
that.
there's such a it feels like a push to like get this out
Yeah.
into the news
Yeah.
because it gives them certain type of retorts against the racism part of it.
Yep.
You know, it's like, oh no, remember them 5 cops killed that black guy? Well, how can the police force be racist?
And you have the black, is it chief of police that she is?
Yeah, I think so. Yep.
You put her
Yep.
out in front and center. She's making a fucking whole scripted ass video about how I've been trying to change the police department and this is the first step. And sure, you want to believe them, but I
No,
don't.
they
They
full of
even
shit.
put black chiefs out when it's white cops. Like they quick to find a token black chief or whatever
Yeah.
high
Yeah.
authority to put them on the stand and
Yep.
talk about it.
Yep.
So this just gives them all the ammo.
All
they
the
need
ammo now.
to do that. How old was the kid?
23? Is that right? 20?
I'm
He's 20
not
something.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
He's 20 something. And it's wild. Like, when you watch and it's really hard to believe as someone that doesn't watch a lot of police murder videos. It's hard for people to believe that this is real because this dude runs up and kicks him in his face as he's on the ground. There's zero justification. And now, of course, they're running he grabbed his gun. It's like, that's
I saw
always,
that.
you saw that? That's always their excuse. Well, he grabbed the gun. I mean, and maybe he did, but fuck.
Yo, that's
If
crazy.
I got 5 cops jumping on me, beating
Yeah,
the shit
man.
out of me, I don't know, man. I'm trying to get away. I'm trying to live. It's so easy to just say, oh, just comply. You motherfuckers never been jumped before.
Right.
I feel like a lot of people that say this have never been punched in the mouth before. So they just don't get it. It's not that easy.
He's 29 years old.
29.
Yeah.
Wow.
Skater kid, you know.
Father. He was a
Yeah,
father too,
everybody, everybody that says anything has been like, he was a great guy,
Full of
sweet,
energy.
full of
Yep,
energy.
Yep. Man.
It's kind of like I was watching Rules of Engagement, and when Samuel L. Jackson was on the stand, and they were kind of badgering him to get him to kind of flip out, which of course he did. But he was like, "Have you ever been to war before? Like in war, they're like you don't know how you're going to react in certain
Exactly.
situations,
Exactly.
and until you're actually in it. So yeah, you sitting there watching this or typing whatever, yeah, you can say comply, but shit,
Right.
you're not in that situation
Right.
when your life's on the line.
Fear makes you do a lot of things, including run. The first thing you do when anybody's attacking you is you run. And to
Yeah.
us, it's no longer about authority. It's a matter of these guys are going to kill me. So white folks should look at it like this. When you're in a dark alley and you have 2 black men with fucking bandanas over their face running at you, what are you going to do? You're going to run because you've been trained to think that these people are threats. We have the same situation.
Yep.
Black people now not now, but have always really look at cops as threats because they are to us.
Yeah, I kept seeing like, because I didn't read it, I kept seeing people say, yeah, he was calling for his mama, this. And as he was being beaten, I didn't know until I read it and got into the story was that he was 80 yards away from the house.
Right. He was
And
trying
that
to run
changed, that changed everything. Because I thought because I think there have been people killed and they, like when it's just a reaction. But I'm like, 80 yards. Y'all know how close 80 yards is, bro. 80 yards from the house.
He was trying to get home.
And you're screaming just to alert somebody, you know, to come help.
Yeah, that's
How long
wild.
ago did this happen?
January 7th? Is that what it was?
Also,
I
just
can look it
a
up.
couple weeks
but-
ago.
Yeah, I want to say it was January 7th. I could be wrong, but
Yeah,
But
it's,
yeah,
it's,
yeah.
It's, yeah.
I think watching the video of them being so flippant about it afterwards definitely easily tells you that they've done this before. It's not a big deal, and and you know, you see he's so fucked up, and he slumps over multiple times, and the cops are just because they sat him up and they put him up against the cop car, and he kept slumping over, and they kept picking him back up and putting him back up against the cop car, and the report so far is that it took EMT almost 20 minutes before they administered any sort of life-saving measures.
Which is also just
What?
as fucked up, bro.
Yeah.
Because I think that they're probably used to this. They're used to showing up to a situation where cops have beat the shit out of somebody, but they didn't think that it was life-threatening.
Yeah,
Even
this
if you
happened
didn't
January
think
7th.
though, if you're in the medical profession and you show up to a scene and somebody needs medical attention, why wait 25 minutes? You know,
Yeah.
so that and again, they're probably I don't know if there's a relationship between the ones that showed up with the cops, but
I'm sure there are. And the cops in the video said that he's high. So when he kept slumping over, they might have just thought, oh, he's just high, and that's why he keeps falling over.
yeah,
The cops kept saying he's high as fuck. He's high as fuck. I couldn't tell. He didn't seem high. He seemed scared to me. So I don't know. It's a pretty fucked up story.
To me, man, like I think like the fucked up thing is like we rarely get justice. We rarely like the aftermath of everything is just so sad, and it's like what recourse do we really have? And like I don't know if y'all saw the story of the Army veteran that had got pepper sprayed at the gas station.
Yeah, that happened some years ago.
$1,000.
He got like
whatever?
$1,500
What
Yeah.
the
or
fuck?
$3,500
I saw
from a $1 million lawsuit.
That is
That's
insanity.
insane.
Yeah.
Like, bro, that's not covering no
Because that happened
medical
in like
expenses.
2020, didn't it? I want to say it
Or
happened like
21 or something.
Yeah,
It was a
like
little
during
while
It was
ago.
fairly recent. He
Yeah.
was doing nothing.
nothing.
And I want to say he even had his hands up when
Yes,
The whole
he
time.
complied.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
And he served this country.
Yes.
You would expect that there's some respect to it's just, and that's why I said, man, like it scares me. You know what I'm saying? Like having kids, because you don't know, and then you're powerless, and then even after your child is taken away from you, it's like you're not getting justice in the court. You're not like, it's a fucked up situation, man.
yeah.
It's
I mean,
scary.
and you know, I'll preface this by saying they're going to jail as they should. But I also thought about like now there are 5. I don't know if they have families, but let's just say some of them do have families. There are 5 families without that
fathers.
father figure in there, without somebody bringing in that income. So there's another impact that happens because they want to get out here and beat somebody, you know, up because they think it's probably cool and talk about it afterwards, the fact or whatnot. It's like, bro, there's so many layers and things that are happening here that just keeps cycling through, bro. It's just crazy.
So there's no trial. They actually just going.
I'm sure there'll be a trial,
okay.
but they're being charged.
Oh,
They've been
okay.
arrested and they're being charged. They haven't been
Gotcha.
convicted yet. But no, what B said earlier is right. I've been saying this from day one that black cops are worse. Black cops always see it as they have something to prove. And they have something to prove to their white supremacist, you know, bosses. And when you say white supremacist bosses, they can be black. It's like, don't get it twisted. Like this black woman that y'all showing all over TV, she could very well be a white supremacist for all we know. But yeah, they just have something to prove. And they look at it like, I'm going into this office as a black officer. I don't want my white superiors to look at me as one of them. This person is embarrassing me. So I have to show that I'm willing to
gotta
do
show
what
and
it
prove.
takes.
Yeah, I gotta show and
So
prove.
if I have to beat the shit out of this young black kid to prove that I belong as a cop, because that's really what it takes.
Yeah.
It's not really protect and serve. It's really like, no, you need to know that we're hiring you to do this specific thing, which is uphold white supremacy, protect property, you know.
Yeah, the whole
So-
system.
Yep.
Yeah, the whole system. So them beating the shit out of this guy, it helps them, especially if they can be so flippant about it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, God, like it looks like a gang. I mean, it is a gang, but it looks like a gang is jumping in some dude. It does not
don't need to
look
watch
like.
that.
Even I almost said a regular police beating, like that's a thing, but it doesn't look like a police beating.
It makes no sense. Yeah, it doesn't.
It's crazy.
I'm so fucking confused.
I've never seen as many police beating videos as I've seen
So it's worse
in
than
my
the Rodney
years.
King one?
I believe so.
It's up there with it, bro. It's like right along there with it. Because it was just 2, right? How many
Two what?
did Rodney King?
Yeah, like 4.
No, it was like
Okay.
4 of them. It was like 4.
Okay.
Two what? Two what?
No, I thought it was
No,
2. I couldn't remember how many
King.
cops beat up Rodney King.
Oh no, yeah, it was 4 with Billy Clubs.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
but
but-
Ronnie King definitely got it.
Yeah.
But this kid, I wouldn't say it's worse. It's just
The way
weird.
it's just like a
It just seems
new age
weird.
type
It's
thing.
weird as shit.
Y'all say they pepper
White
sprayed
people-
him,
They tased him, yeah.
punched him, kicked him. It's like they did everything they possibly could.
Hit him with a
except shoot him.
baton. Yeah, they did everything but shoot him. Because again, I think that they're used to doing this. And I even want to say once they caught him after he ran away, it looked like one of the cops that got it looks to me like the one with the baton was white. He didn't look black to me. But again, we got lucky in this. Is like there were body cams, but the really damning video was from a camera across the street on a pole. That's what
One of them
caught
traffic cameras.
most of it.
Traffic
I don't even know if
camera.
was it a traffic camera?
Usually
I
that's how
couldn't
it be.
tell.
But you said it was
Yeah,
like
that's
on a pole.
usually what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like traffic cameras or whatever.
Yeah. That caught most of it, of the really bad shit. You see it from a distance. And when you see it from a distance and you see what they're doing, it's just like, why are y'all doing this? But then it's like, because they're fucking cops.
And it's like you said, Mike, they want that level of acceptance. You get on this force, you think you're no longer black, you're
Yes, you're blue.
you're blue,
Right.
and but to uphold that, you want to make sure that it's just exactly what you said, that I'm going to make sure that I treat the blacks, as rough. But my thing is like, this is your chance to kind of really help. Like, because I say that even though I have no factual evidence, like, I would think that there are a group of white cops that look out for white people. It's like, but you're doing, some of you guys are doing the opposite of that. So you're gonna double down to prove that you belong. When if you did the opposite, we're like, you know what, man, I'm gonna look out for you this time, bro, and I'm gonna let you go. Just make sure you tighten that up
That's
next
what you
time.
would
And
think,
stuff.
but it's
Yeah,
not
like
like-
it's not This is how you can help and build up in the community, man. But it's just.
But if there actually was a white cop, like I suspect, if there actually was a white cop in the car when they first pulled up, then that removes that opportunity of,
Yep.
you know what, bro, I'm going to let you go.
Yep, all
You
out the
know,
door.
Like, I'm telling you, I have been harassed more by black cops than white cops. They're terrible. They're terrible. Like I told y'all when the motherfucker told me that I couldn't pour my water out of my car. Did I tell y'all that one? Yeah, I mean, these motherfuckers, and it was a black cop.
Yeah.
Like, these motherfuckers, all they're looking for is, I want respect. Because if they're a black man, they haven't been getting it, through any other means. So they become a cop, and like, okay, now I'm finally going to get my respect. And we still look at y'all and laugh, and they can't take that. And if you dare to run away from me when I told you to go on the ground, oh, now you done pissed me off. Now I'm sweating. Now I'm tired. I might have hurt my foot chasing you. I'm taking all of this out on you.
Yep.
That's crazy. How do y'all feel about the releasing of the footage? Do y'all feel like that's necessary, not necessary, or to bring it to the forefront? Like, how do y'all feel about that?
I think it's necessary. I think it's necessary because we didn't like back in the day when it happened. Like it was just hearsay. Like you never knew how bad it was. And I think video. I think it's a double-edged sword. I think it's a slippery slope because if that was my son, I wouldn't want people to see that. But at the same time, I understand getting it out there so that way people see the injustice that's happening. You know what I'm saying?
Kinda like Emmett Till.
You know what I'm saying? So that's a tough question. I personally, I would say I would want the video out there so people can see, because it's fucked up and it gives you context. It's just not
Yeah.
words that somebody could paint that picture way different. But the way you perceive that video, can't nobody tell you what you just saw.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's fucked up, but I definitely think the video should come out.
I think it would be only like if I'm not feeling like I'm getting the justice that it deserves at that point. Yeah, then release the footage. If they're already being charged and rightfully charged and correctly charged, I don't know if it's that necessary at that point. But if they're being charged accordingly, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's necessary to release the footage. But I do get releasing it if they're not being correctly charged, for sure, just so people can see and can get more traction behind the story.
Maybe they're thinking about it from a standpoint of, we want y'all to see why this was so swift. Why, I think the issue is, before anything popped off, we knew this was going to be different because the cops were charged.
When we
so
saw
quickly.
it, we all knew.
Yeah, we knew this video must be bad. And I think that, at that point, I feel like they didn't have a choice but to release it. And that, I keep calling her police chief. I don't know if she's actually a chief. I'm not sure what her role is. Head pig. She goes on TV and she's talking about how she's trying to change the perspective of the police force and all this other shit. It kind of helped her to release this, because she's like, this happened on my watch and I'm stopping it. I'm putting an end to this. Like, any way you look at it, yeah, it's going to hurt pigs, but at the same time, it's kind of helping her, because it's giving her a good look, because she's trying to make it seem like, oh, my cops aren't like this. And if I find out that they are doing stuff like this, I am going to fire them immediately. Yep. That not on my watch bullshit they try to put out there.
Then the question I have, and I'm sure a lot of other people probably have, is the follow-up is like, they don't have a history of doing this.
Right. They didn't seem like not used to doing this.
Like, this didn't seem random.
Nah.
So there had to have been complaints on this, kind of like We Own the City. Is that was it?
Yeah.
Where you have a guy with a history of complaints.
Right.
They do nothing about it until they had to do something about it. I think the video, to a certain degree, helps Rod, because there's, we talk about it, and people can actually see these things happening, and judge for themselves, and be like, oh yeah, that was totally unnecessary. Why did he do that? Instead of us trying to convince them, like, that these cops are messed up and be doing all kind of fucked up shit, they can actually see for themselves and determine whether or not they want to.
But if they're already being charged, like, what does it help? Exactly?
I think it helps the overall conversation that we have had for decades, that the police are racist and they're killing black people unjustly or people unjustly.
By bringing attention to the story.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think, and this is slightly unrelated, but I think it drives the point home. Years ago, when Ray Rice had that incident with his girlfriend or fiance or something like that, when the NFL got wind of it, it was like, okay, cool, he's just suspended. When he saw the video, it was like, you out the league.
Is that the elevator thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And again, it just brings context, because I could tell you, oh yeah, he hit his woman, whoop-de-woo, but she's okay. She don't want to press charges. But then when you see
the video, and she was limped and she was knocked out.
Well, that's why I say correctly charged. Like, that's why I say, like, if they got like a short sentence or something like that, and the family or anybody that knows about the story feel like it's unjust, like, because it's like, oh, they should be in there for
release the video. Release that video.
But I think even if they are correctly charged, because it shows you the inhumaneness that is rampant. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because again, like, if you don't see it, it's
you don't believe it.
You don't believe that they would go to that length.
Me personally, I don't have to see it. It sounded like it was bad.
It's not for you. That's the thing. It's not for you.
Yeah.
It's not for
What
me.
do you mean by that?
So I don't think that video needed to be released for you. I think it needs to be released for the people that keep apologizing for cops.
Yes.
Oh,
And
okay.
you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Like,
Yes.
someone's
I'm like
telling
that
you,
too.
like, hey, this happened, you're going to believe it. Like, if I come to you and I tell you, like, yo, these cops beat my ass last week,
Yeah.
you're gonna believe me.
I'm
'Cause
gonna
why would I
really beat your
lie?
ass.
Yeah.
You're probably gonna believe it to more than they even beat
Maybe,
your ass.
yeah.
You know what I'm
Right,
saying? Like that.
right.
When
I'm
I
the
first
same
saw the
way.
story,
Yeah.
4 or 5 cops.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, they beat the shit out this dude.
Right.
And he's dead, right?
Right.
He
So
died
it's
3
like
days
in my
later.
mind, I'm like, oh, they really must
Yeah.
have
Right.
did everything.
don't need to see
but
that
shoot.
video.
You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
don't need to see it. I already understand what happened.
Mm-hmm.
But I get what you're saying as far as like the people that aren't me and always trying to make justify what cops do and stuff like that. So,
And maybe not even like the wannabe pigs who defend pigs. Maybe not even them. Maybe just the people that are on that fence that are just like, yes, I think the police department is bad, but we just need to reform it.
yeah,
It's for them. Like this kind of shit, you can't reform this. This is a systemic doctrinaire thing that's happening with the police department.
Yeah, no, 100%. But I think that even those people, you can't change their minds.
Sometimes I think you can, bro.
I think it's a lot of them because Jason Whitlock. Did you see what he?
I
Bruh,
did, and I didn't even want to bring it up, bro. But go ahead.
I feel you,
It's-
and I didn't
oh
want to
my
bring it up
fucking
either.
God.
That's
man.
the kind of chubby-ish guy.
Yes,
He's a
the
sports
Uncle
guy,
Ruckus.
right?
Yes.
Uncle Ruckus.
Okay, he said something about this.
Man, he and I couldn't watch the whole thing because it was he. I think he was on CNN and it was
on Fox.
also
No,
showing.
He was on Fox.
He was on Fox.
He was talking to Tucker, bro.
Yeah, he was talking to Tucker.
You know, I don't follow none of that
Yes.
shit.
Yep. So you already know.
Yes.
and they were showing the video, and I didn't want to watch the video, so I only heard a little bit of what he was saying. But he was pinning it on single motherhood, and if he would have just complied and all, and I'm like, yo, like you're seeing this, and that is how you react.
Yeah.
Like
that's what I'm saying. Like it's like some. I don't know, man.
So there are people. I feel you, Mike, because I 100% agree with you. Like the video needs to come out for the people that always try to pacify the situation, 100%. But then there's a big percentage of those people that even that's not going to change them.
And to be fair, I'm not necessarily saying that it had to come out. I'm just saying I understand why it did.
Yeah,
So I want
100%.
to make sure that I retract what I said before. I'm with y'all. I mean, I didn't need to see it, but at the same time, it was that morbid curiosity that's just like, how bad could this possibly be for this to end up with 5 pigs not convicted, but arrested and charged this quickly? That was why I wanted to see it.
And I wanted to see it because I guess it was for me because I'm like, okay, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Why? So that's why I watched it because I'm like, this shit don't make any sense. I already knew beforehand, but it was blowing up so bad. I was like, what in the fuck happened in this damn video? So
It is very hard to watch.
But to Rod's point about saying correctly charged, knowing our justice system, how often are people correctly charged that aren't black? You know what I'm saying? So it can be easily put as manslaughter. And what if it is second degree murder? Like those charges are different. And you get lesser time. So even if you're saying correctly charged, they may just made it a lesser charge when it should be a higher charge.
Right.
And for us to see it, we can protest and be like,
Say,
this
nah,
should be
yep.
a higher charge than what you're giving this person right now. So even the correctly charged part, you can't even go off because we don't have no trust in the justice system either.
Well, that's why I said, with the family or whatever, like it would be, for them to make the decision, like no, and they feel like it's unjust still. Like no, they need this needs to be a higher sentence. So that's why I'm saying like the family or whatever. Because do they have to give permission to release it?
No.
They don't.
Nah.
Oh, okay.
And as gross as it sounds, not to be insensitive, but sometimes it goes past the family. Like I understand if they didn't want it released and they're like, respect our privacy. Sometimes to other folks, it might be like, well, I know it was your kid, but at this point, this is bigger than you and your kid. This is a systemic issue that needs to be spread, and you can help save the lives of other people. Because the charges on this are very weird. Like they're charging them with it's kidnapping.
Yeah, I saw
What?
that.
So they're treating this like these aren't pigs. They're treating this like these are almost like civilian charges. And this is someone that's very ignorant, y'all. Before y'all get pissed off, I'm an idiot when it comes to law and that type of shit. But nothing in this video seems different than what pigs usually do. But the fact that they're charging these cops with kidnapping,
that is a
it's
weird.
odd.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I want to read more into why this is happening. I couldn't find an actual. I couldn't find from the prosecution standpoint of why they went with kidnapping. unless you look at it and say, okay, well, if they're trying to make a case that these particular pigs were not operating in pig fashion, then you can say, okay, them beating his ass and essentially taking him is kidnapping because we're no longer treating you like you're acting as cops. You see what I'm saying?
I do. So then you're kind of removing them from the veil of police
Which is
activity.
bizarre.
Yeah,
it is.
that's fucking slick as hell.
That
if
is
that's what they
super
going for.
slick.
Ain't that some shit?
Now, again, I don't know if that's what it is because I've just been working this out in my brain. I haven't seen many articles or anything talking specifically about that, but that's some weird shit.
That is.
These motherfuckers, bro.